Hey peeps, it's Rina and welcome to my anxiety-filled life. Today I'm kind of in shambles. Like, I did a twist out last night, but I took it out too early and it was wet, so I had to throw it up in a puff. I know you're probably getting tired of the puff, but this is what I'm working with because my hair won't cooperate. I let it do what it do, and that's it. Besides that, I feel like the hours are just blending together at this point. Like, where did April go? I'm not sure, but it's gonna be May. It's May. What we gonna do about it? Nothing. If you are returning from my last video and you've already subscribed, thank you so much for returning to my channel. For those of you that are new peeps, welcome. Hopefully you like my videos. I'm really close to my 50 subscriber milestone. I know it's not like a lot of subscribers, but like I really appreciate the support and it's kind of a big deal to me. So it is what it is. So let's get into today's video. Today I'm going to be continuing part 3 of the mini budgeting series. If you haven't seen part 1 or part 2 about why I budget and how I created my budget, it'll be linked either above or down in the description box below. Once you've already created your budget, now it's time for you to create a budgeting tracking strategy so that you hold yourself accountable. So obviously there are multiple ways to track your budget, like the bullet journals, the envelope method, whatever works for you. Just make sure that you choose something that is easy and simple so that you want to stick with it. For me, I like to use apps because they just, it's in my phone, that which I carry everywhere, and it's just easy for me to use. So let's get into all of my favorite budgeting apps. So there are a lot of great budgeting apps, and a lot of them I have tested. Some I haven't even heard of yet. So let me know in the comments if there's a budgeting app that I don't mention that you really like. I'd love to test it out. But for me, I feel like a lot of apps didn't cut it for me because it didn't meet my 10 basic needs. Number 1, it had to be very user friendly. Number 2, it had to be secure so that nobody could hack into my personal information. Number 3, it had to be able to connect to all of my bank accounts, including my retirement accounts and savings accounts. 4, it would be able to give me my credit score for free and give me updates as well. 5, it had to analyze my spending habits. 6, it provided me with notifications just in case like anything in my account changed that I should be aware of. 7, it offered me personal finance tips so that I can be in better financial health. 8, it had to have various budgeting categories because there's, it had to pretty much match what I have on my budgeting sheet. 9, it had to be able to recognize the transfers between all of my bank accounts because my main account is my MCU checking account, but I always transfer my money from that account to my Chase account in order to send it to my credit card, my savings, because it doesn't recognize MCU as a bank yet. So it is what it is. 10, and this is the most important one, it had to be free 99. Okay, aka $0. I love free apps. As I said in my previous videos, I'm cheap, so free, like who doesn't love free stuff? It's the best. So no budgeting app is perfect, which is why I have 3 of them. So I'm gonna start with the old reliable Nerd Wallet. So I downloaded Nerd Wallet towards the end of my senior year once I created my budget, and it's definitely improved since then, but I think the only thing that's missing that would make it perfect is more categories for the budgets. So it's very limited, so a lot of my expenses just end up getting marked to other because there's not a lot of like categories or subcategories. I mean, I don't mind it too much, but it's just that one thing that just doesn't make it perfect. But it still has the spending analysis like any other budgeting app. So some people might be turned off, by that, but it just doesn't bother me. Some people might be turned off that you have to basically create your budget by adding each bill or your expense. But it doesn't really bother me. It still does the same thing as a budget. So it still works for me. But, try it out for yourself and let me know what you think. The next app I want to bring up is Mint. So Mint is definitely one of the OGs. Like, I'm pretty sure it started as a website and then they transferred it to an app. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what happened. But it's been here for a really long time, and you know, they changed their logo and have updated the app many times. So this one I'd say I use the most, but it's just missing a few things that would make it perfect. So one of my gripes with the app is that it hasn't updated my credit score since April 14th, 2019. I've, deleted the app and then, downloaded it again to refresh my information, and it still stays the same. I don't know what to do about it, but I have other apps to see my credit score anyway, so it's just like, but it would be nice to see it on the app because that's one of the features, but it hasn't updated in over a year, which I think is crazy. But it is what it is. The second problem that I have with the Mint app is that it keeps giving me notifications that I need to update my credentials for all of my bank accounts. I don't know if it, like I said, I've refreshed the app many times and I'm still having the same issues, but the information that it provides is always accurate. So I'm like, why do I need to refresh this information if you're still being able to pull, information from my bank accounts and, my credit card and all that stuff. So I just ignore them, honestly. It was so annoying just updating my information over and over. So I just ended up just giving up. And I mean, the summaries are still correct. So I see no purpose in trying to update my information over and over. But hopefully they fix that glitch in the future. This app is better than NerdWallet in my opinion because it has way more budget categories and subcategories. So I can literally tag things that are transfers, that are student loans and stuff like that. And it's just easier for me to create limits for each of those items, and it matches my budget basically. So that's why I just love Mint, and I'll probably always use it. Let's move on to the honorable mentions, starting with status. So I wanted to make an honorable mention for the status app because it's not really a budgeting app, but you can track your budget and your expenses on the app. I don't remember how I found out about it, but I've had it for over a year now and I love it. Also, when you sign up, don't be worried that they're asking for a lot of personal information like your address, your social security number, your salary. The reason they ask for this information is because of the sole purpose of the app, which is to help you pretty much figure out your status financially and compare you to your peers and to the national averages. So whether that's about your salary, your credit score, your net worth, etc. Trust me, I was a little freaked out too, so I did my research prior to make sure that it was a legit app, and I was like, oh, okay, I can give them, my social security number, which I never give out, but it is what it is. So the best thing that I like about this app is that it goes through all of my finances for months, years, and it analyzes my spending habits. So it lets me know what it's projected to be based on how I've spent my money in different categories for previous months, years, yada, yada, yada. So you can either set limits for your budget categories on the app. You don't have to, but I think it's on the safer side if you do, so that it can, give you tips on how you can decrease those budget line items and like where it sees you spending money the most and stuff like that. So it's very analytical and it gives you a lot of tips on how to just increase your financial health. The last honorable mention is the Albert app. So I no longer have the Albert app, but it deserves an honorable mention. So the reason why I deleted it is because I was having a lot of connection issues with my accounts to the point where I felt like I was updating them like every other day. I didn't have the issues in the beginning, but like I'd say months later, I started to have the issues, and even though I was updating my information, I was still getting inaccurate information. So unlike Mint, that was giving me, updated summaries and analytics, I was not getting the same thing for Albert. But if they were able to fix those glitches, I probably would go back to the app because I really liked it. The features that I did like that were different from the other apps that I've tried is that it had like sinking funds and emergency funds. So you can set like a little bit of money to the side for things like vacations, expenses that you think are coming up, stuff like that. So I really like that feature because I was able to build my emergency fund and put a little money to the side for my upcoming vacation. So I really like that part. Also, they have a lot of mission-oriented tasks so that you can increase and better your financial health. The mission-oriented tasks were things like getting renter's insurance or signing up for a high-yield savings account. So just little things here and here so you can learn more, and it would explain it in detail so that you understood the concept and then you pretty much ran with it by yourself. So I downloaded it again recently just to see if anything had changed, and they did add one new feature called Albert Instant. So basically it allowed you to borrow $100 and it was interest-free, as well as you didn't need a credit check. So the only gripe is that if you wanted the money instantly, you had to pay $4.99. But if you wanted to get the money for free, then you would have to wait 3 days. And all you have to do is pay back that amount, like, you know, after you're done using the funds for whatever emergency you need it for. But I think that's a pretty cool concept. So basically it's like a little microloan for a little bit of funds that you probably need in a pinch. Another thing that made this app different is that it had a genius component. So basically there were experts and service reps behind the app that were able to answer your questions, and you were able to connect this to your text messages. So you could text a rep and, you know, say my goal is to save this amount of money by this amount of time, and they would help you achieve that goal. So you could literally ask the experts anything about money, and then they would help you reach whatever financial goals that you had. I really like this compared to Hi Charlie, which was kind of similar, but that one was automated messages. I didn't really like it too much, and I deleted that as well. But the genius component definitely worked out. I started to get annoyed when I got the notifications over and over that my accounts weren't connected, so that's why I ended up just deleting it and removing it from my account. So another thing that was unique about the Albert app is that they let you choose how much you want to pay for the app. So yes, it was free to download, but you know, they suggested, hey, do you want to pay between $5 and $7 for the app? You get to choose. And you know, if you felt like that was a little bit too steep, you could also choose additional payment options where they allowed you to either pay between $0 to $14. So being me, who, you know, I'm cheap, I initially chose the $0 option so I could get everything for free. But once I saw that the app was improving and it really, you know, entered my regular financial like routine, I decided to upgrade to the $5 per month because I felt like the app deserved it. But once it started messing up for me, then obviously I stopped the subscription and I canceled the account. But $5 per month is really not bad for all of that it does and all the features that it provides you. So yeah. If you made it here to the end, thank you so much. I try to make this video a little bit shorter than my other videos because I realize they're getting longer and longer, and I feel like our generations don't have the longest attention span. Thanks, technology. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions or if you have any comments. I want to know what kind of budgeting apps that you guys use to track your expenses, or what other methods. It doesn't have to be an app. Maybe I want to try it out and test it out and see what else works for me besides the apps that I'm using now. One thing I forgot to mention about all the apps that I use is that sometimes when it's analyzing all of your spending, it doesn't recognize properly which expense belongs to which category, and all of them are able to basically have you edit your expense so that it's analyzing it properly. So say that it's seeing an expense that it thinks is just other. You can say, no, that's a student loan, and you can change it to say this is for student loans. Well, except the NerdWallet app, which I said has very limited categories, but I digress. So the next video will be the last video of this budgeting series, part 4, in which I show you how I maintain my budgeting by just using my notes app on my phone. It's very simple, very easy, and I'm just gonna walk you through it. So per usual, spend wisely, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Young, broken, independent, not broken, not quitting, I'ma get it. Even though I still struggle, I'm sufficient. Like what's up, aiming how it's business. Believe me, it's finna happen. They call them detours, we call it passion. How many no's you receive? I just stopped counting. So why you still doing this shit? I'ma cash in the fountain. See this dream dance between my ear canal, lives inside my heart like a future child. Possess the wisdom in between my smile. The world gotta see me, it may take a while. That's okay, it's prepared for. Played a lot of shows I had to pay for. Define the crowd, me, myself, and I, and the DJ and my homeboys. Good things take some time, I'm like, ooh yeah. Patience is a virtue when I'm moving. Looking at my life, it's a movie. Lot of ups and downs, I'm sticking to it. I got the sauce, I got the drip. I make the play, I get the assist. Impossible, it exists. The slow grind made a better trip.
Today I'm going to be continuing part 3 of the midget 5. It had to also analyze my spending habits and let me know another unique thing about the